suppose I should push this button and go live. Since you're watching what I'm doing anyway, which was I forgot to start my Track IR software and center it. Oh well. Life. The life of a professional broadcaster. I'm guessing that's someone else though, because it certainly isn't me. How is the audio and stuff? It kind of... Am I actually live or not? Michael laughed, so I'm guessing I am. Hello, Chicago. Hello, Michael. Michael is also on the chat if you want to say hello. While I continue to look over here, which actually it wouldn't matter because head tracking doesn't matter in the menu. Okay, so we're starting off with Salzburg, Schwarzach, St. Veit. Michael can hear me. That's fantastic. Because YouTube's telling me I'm not live, but apparently I am. Hang on, there's a way I can check. Let's have a try of this. Yeah, my work phone says... No, my work phone doesn't say I'm live. Yeah. Or does it? Apparently it does. Okay, good-o. No, it got the notification, so that's all good. As long as the notification goes out, I'm happy. Anyway, what are we starting on? Oh yeah, we're looking at the OBB 1016. So there's been a little bit of a busy week from... Well, nearly 2 weeks now, actually. But let's call it a busy week from RSSLO, who makes Austrian content for the most part. Austrian and a bit of Swedish. Dabbles in the German occasionally, but mostly Austrian and mostly OBB. Let's go then. We're going to start with the OBB 1016, and we're going to be running a passenger local. And we'll do two things with the OBB 1016. We'll do the passenger and then we'll do a freight. I have got my head tracker turned on for the first time on stream. I don't know how it'll go, but we'll try. I may turn it off. And then after that, and if I do have to turn it off, I have to restart the game because it gets awfully confused if the head tracker disappears. But anyway, that's all good. Don't tell him, Michael. It's a secret. But anyway... Then we'll be going on to, we're going to have a look at the OBB 1063, which those of you who follow British Ace, you will have seen his stream where it wouldn't move. I've had that experience too. I got it to move last night. I'm not quite sure how. So I'm going to try and replicate the thing that I'm not quite sure how I did it. Okay. Anyway, let's get going. What are we doing? Day shift in the OBB 1016. Let's get it on. That was a bit too DJ, wasn't it? A bit wankish. I have coffee. I haven't had enough coffee yet. Now, if this goes all wonky, I think I mentioned I'm running a Track IR. Because my eldest son had a credit at a computer store that he didn't know what to do with, so I said, buy one of these then. And he went, okay. Alright, this is the OBB 1016. You are driving a local passenger train to Frieseling. Pick up passengers and wait for departure. Frieseling sounds like a wine. Maybe it's Free Lassie. Could be a dog. Anyway, let's jump in the cab. Yep, the head tracking does seem to work. That's good. Okay. Let's try and set this thing up. So we want... no, it doesn't have a master key, but we need to get... first things first. We need to get the independent brake on. Very important. Get some train brakes on until it applies on the brake cylinders, which is that yellow thing there. I think... Oops, I shouldn't do that. When I want to look over there, I've got to remember to press that button, and then I can look over there quite freely. Otherwise, you're going to get seasick. Alright, now we need the reverser, which I think all the way is forwards. And then we're going to need something down here. We need...
RSB.
That's what we need.
RSB.
Now we need two other things, though. We need... CIFA on. And we need PZB off. Because PZB in Train Sim Classic bites big time. And I don't like it. So... I'm trying to find my way around the rail drive. We should have lights on the outside now. Let's have a look. No! Yes, we do. They're just sad and pathetic lights. That's okay. They're on. Who's that strange man in there? Who is that? He's got a bloody bow tie on. It's a very fuzzy bow tie, and he's got a smarmy grin. Where's the beard, mate? You're clearly not me. Maybe you're German me. Anyway, is it time to go yet? No. Still getting passengers on. What else can I do with this locomotive? I can turn on instrument lights, but they're too bright in my opinion. They're a bit distracting, so I'll turn them off. We can have cab lights, I think. Yep. Maybe if I turn the cab lights on and I turn the instrument lights on. Well, that's not so bad, is it? So I run them both together. Not so bad. You do have door controls and the like, which I think work. The windows work, if I can get onto them. Come on. Come on. Come on, mousey, mousey. Oh, come on. You know you want to. What? Yep, windows. Alright, other window. I have to remember to move slowly with the head tracking so I don't break your heads. There we go. Windows open. And Chicago's pretty hyped up. He's already warned me that he's going to spam the shit out of us. Okay, now, let me just turn my head at the rail driver, set some stuff up. Should be good to go over here. Okay. Now, that brake release, bit of horn, even though the Austrians aren't horny, we all know that. And put some power on, and then I need to put on... Actually, do I need power? Not yet, no, because then I need to turn on this thing. How fast are we allowed to go? 130. Oh, we got a 120 zone coming up, we'll do that. But I think I put the power on first, and I shouldn't have. Let's try that. You gonna work? Ooh, it's making noises. Is it gonna do anything? More power? More power? No. Don't have any brakes on though, do we? That does go that way, so that is fully released. Have I still got brakes on somewhere? No? No, maybe I did. I did. There they go, they're going down now. Compressor's on. So it clearly didn't relieve the brake handles the first time. It wanted me to play with them twice. Alright, now we give it power, see what happens. There we go. One thing I have noticed about RSSLO's trains is they're a little bit picky. Let's call it picky. Now, hopefully the sound levels are okay for you guys. Sifa. Mash that button. I found that you have to mash the Sifa button 3-4 times before the game believes it. And don't dare be outside the cab when you've got Sifa turned on, because you can't hear it outside. Just say it. Hello, NJTE. Chicago's still spamming us about trains. And we're getting yelled at for Sifa. Come on, I did it. No. Oh, fine. You know what? Stuff you, Sifa. You're out of here. But it's still going to make me stop, even though I turned it off. God. So, am I in love with RSSLO's way of doing stuff? No. Alright, now we should be able to go again. I think. Let's smash that button some more. Something's happening. Something's happening. Our far motors aren't doing anything though. Bloody Sifa. Let's reset everything. Did it put on any other brakes? Oh, the brakes are on. So let's put the brakes on and take the brakes off. Let's just watch that little gauge go down. That's what it wanted me to do. Going to neutral, put the brakes on. Alright, now we'll be able to move. And this time, I'm not turning Sifa back on, because it hates me. It's bound to the usual key. Yes, NJTE, track IR. It's bound to the usual key, but I have to say, it doesn't believe the usual key very much, because you could probably hear me mashing the button. And well, it just doesn't believe. Here's our first station anyway, Oberon, which sounds like a planet in Star Wars. Oh, that was Alderaan. Got blown up, didn't it? Well, let's not stay here long enough for anybody to blow us up. Alright. Done. Let's pop outside where track IR won't matter anymore. Now, opinion on that sign there. You couldn't really say no in much more clear way. Because it's not just no, is it? It's no with a big shouty-faced man that's probably saying something really rude that we won't put on an E for everyone's stream. But anyway, our thing of the day is the OBB 1016. It's kind of cute. Let's try and make it move again. Let's watch it leave. Maybe. The brakes coming off. Go back in the cab and see if the brakes are coming off. No, they're not. Oh, that's interesting. So it doesn't actually believe the rail driver if you're not in the cab. Now it's sad again. There we go. Alright. So now if we go outside... It's very hard to find keys and things on the keyboard. Alright. Let's stand here and watch it leave. This time for sure, Ollie. Does it believe the throttle if you're outside the cab? It does. Fantastic. And what have we got in the chat? We've got Chicago, who's still spamming us about going to the Illinois Railway Museum, to the Railfan the Traction Weekend event. Good-o. There's our passenger carriages that come along with the OBB 1016 on this route. Hey, you're leaving me behind, you bastard. We haven't got CFA turned on anymore, so it's safe to be outside. And it won't speed because I've got AFB turned on. Now we're going to Punch B Helene. I'm going to call that Punch Bowl because it's funny. And NJAT is telling us about all sorts of trains dying in the chat. Ah, managed to stop it in time. There's a freight train. Oh. Are we back? We're back. I think we're back online. No? I'm not sure. We're moving. Yes, we're back. Okay.
Sounds like it. Looks like it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Everything just shit itself. But it came back. Thank you, ISP. Thank you very much for being annoying. And then thank you for fixing it quickly, whatever it was. They think no one uses the internet on Sunday mornings in Australia. All right. Puck Erstein, here we come. Brakes off. Little brakey needle thing is going down. It's, you might say that was barring down, and when you put the brakes on, it's barring up. Maybe you wouldn't say that. All right, here we go again. It's a bit interesting with Track IR, I have to say. It's okay if I'm looking around in the cab, because we can look at things. So in this one, I don't think the radio does anything. In the next train we're going to look at, it does. You've got all your usual PZB controls and stuff everywhere. You've seen that we're using AFB. Of course, it's TSClassic, so you can't really get out of the chair and wander around in the cab. You can change views. And with Track IR, you can do something really silly. You can stick your head outside, like a dog. That's just silly. Well, at least the stream came back. Seems okay. Is it okay? I meant to be stopping again. Let's give it lots of brakes. Lots of brakes. More brakes. More brakes. Yeah. More brakes. Come on. You can do it. Come on, train. Come on, train. That's all your brakes. You know, let's give you the independent brake as well. Did we stop in the station? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Did we make it? I think not, because I can't open the doors. Oh no. Oh no. Is there a signal down there? There is at the end of the platform, but there's not one before the platform. So, Let's go into reverse and brakes off. A little bit of juice. I don't know if AFB works when you're going backwards. Go on then. Come on. Come on. Ooh, we're moving. Yes. It does have nice sound. It sounds like the 185 because it's a Siemens locomotive. Let's see if we can open the doors here from the independent brake only. Ah, good. All right, now, do you know how hard it is to run a rail driver without looking at it? Because if I look at it, I end up looking at the back of my chair, which you guys probably don't want to see. That's okay. Let's have a look outside. Let's go look at the station. I had a bit of a look around the route earlier, and I compared it to what I could find on Google Maps Street View, which being Austria, and they're being a little bit sensitive about their privacy, some would say overly sensitive about their privacy. I did have a little bit of trouble actually looking at reference for this route, to be honest, but I found some. I found some people who take photos in stations because they don't give a shit about other people's privacy. Alright, we can go to Elsbeethen. Or not. Oh, no, it was going. I just wasn't patient enough. Away we go. Okay. See, even when I cough, it moves around with track IR on. That could get annoying, couldn't it? We've got 4 kilometres this time, so I'll try and pay attention and stop in the station. And so we're going to Elsbeethen. So we'll call this station Queens, because we can. And I see Chicago and NJT are still dueling about their rail fanning in the chat. Which one can rail fan more? And then, of course, there's Chicago, who's just trying to annoy me by saying, I still stretch the trains out by doing notch 3 and then 8. And you know what, Chicago? That means you're doing what I told you to do, so suffer. You're not annoying me at all. Because with passenger trains, that's perfectly acceptable behaviour. With freight trains, that's a good way to break some couplers. Yeah, Michael's a bit quiet. I'll turn him up. Okay, 2.5 kilometres to go. Here's Mr. Jerky Head, who obviously doesn't stop moving ever. It's kind of cool because, you know, you can look out under the dashboard. You can zoom into the dashboard. You can zoom back. But there's a limit to how far you can go back before it loses you and then all hell breaks loose. 1.78 kilometres to go. Nearly there. Like most routes, the scenery is fairly good if you're staying in the cab. Outside the cab, if you go up in the air, it does tend to suffer pretty quickly. It's not a power off. Start some electric braking. Train does accelerate and brake well. It's pleasant to drive. It's a little bit picky in how you use the controls. So it's obviously got some scripting on it. But you know, he's not alone in having picky scripting. That seems to be the norm in TS Pro content. And this is supposedly a TS Pro route. I'll chuck a link to the route in the chat while we're stopping in this station. Before I forget, I must disclose... Actually, do I have to disclose this route? Sure, did I buy this or did they give it to me? I think I bought... No, I think they gave me this one. Alright. Let's do a T thing and... let's have a quick look at the route, and then I'll chuck the link in the chat. So while it stopped at the station, it is available on Steam, and it's got lots of pretty pictures, like most routes do. And it's got freight and passenger stuff. It's got a bit of variety in the scenarios. And it is, of course, from RSSLO. I don't know what RSSLO stands for, but there you go. And we're visiting Austria and drive through the stunning scenery with RSSLO's next installment for Train Simulator. Doesn't installment have 2 L's? Or am I wrong? Anyway. The Salzburg-Schwarzach St. Veit route, built back in the 1870s, the line between Salzburg and Schwarzach St. Veit was part of the impressive Salzburg Trioler Bahn, a feat of engineering running along the Salzach Valley. The line is of vital importance, and there is little road connections along the valley, making the railway the primary source of all passenger and freight traffic. Ah, that's what railway people like, having them by the short and curlies. Today the line is as busy as ever, fully double-tracked and electrified. It forms part of the Salzburg S-Bahn network, blah 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 blah. And you get some scenarios: snowy freight, train IC794, freight delivery, foggy day shift. Day shift's what we're running right now, and it wants me to leave, doesn't it? Well, tough titties. The key features, 73 kilometres, so it's quite a long one. We're not running the whole thing. 28 authentically detailed stations, apparently. Picturesque Austrian scenery. I have to say, if you stay in the cab or stay near the track level, it's pretty nice. If you go up, it's a bit like, it runs out quick. It includes the OB 1016 and the OBB City Shuttle coaches, and they do have a passenger view. We could look at that in a tick. It also includes some other OBB stock that you see occasionally, but you can't drive. And there's the career scenarios we talked about. It does have a quick drive, and it's big. There you go. Let's just chuck the link in the chat. And should I make the train move while we're waiting? Probably should. Let's jump back in the cab. Bit of horny action. Brakes off. That brake's already off. That looks like they're coming off, so let's just try and give it a bit of power and see what it does while that's happening. Come on, brake gauge, do your thing. Is it going to power up now? It's putting the brakes back on, isn't it? Because I decided to put the power back on too quickly. Look at that, it put the brakes back on. Alright, we'll wait till you get to 0, Mr. Picky Lewis script from RSSLO. And maybe later I'll unpack your pack file and pull you apart and fix you. And put you on workshop. Alright, there we go. You have to wait till the bar pressure actually gets to 0. How about that? Since we've got CIFA turned off, we can watch it from outside for a little while. Yeah, I lost me link. That's okay. Because I was dumb when I put Chrome underneath the game. Sigh. Oh, and there's lots of stuff in the chat to catch up with too. There's Chicago yelling, me. There you go. And NJT talking about service changes. And can I read your last comments? Well, probably, but there's a lot of them. So NJT is telling us some services are going to change in New York. And I'd better start putting the brakes on really, really, really hard. Really hard. Are they on? No, they're not on because I'm not in a cab. God damn it. God damn it. Emergency brakes. All the brakes.
Bye-bye, station.
Yeah. And you know what? We've just passed it. There's no going back now because it wants me to go to the next station. Sorry, people of Austria. I'm sorry that your train only works when I'm actually in the cab. Alright, let's just go to the next station. Brakes off. Is there some strange procedure I have to do to make the brakes come off after an emergency brake? That's the question. Or do I just have to wait? Let's just try waiting. Let's see what happens. That looks like it's working, doesn't it? Well, we missed a station.
Well, needle's going down.
Yeah, it's on the way. It's going back up. No, it stopped. Waiting, 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 waiting. Is it going down? It's hard to tell. Very hard to tell. I don't think the compressor's running. It's doing something. Right, let's put the brakes back on and take it off again. It starts to work. Okay. Good. Will it power? No. So there's something else I have to do, clearly. Let's try and go into off and then back into on again. Will that work? No. Oh, they put the brakes back on. And they've put the brakes on too. What's going on, train? Have I confused you royally? I have, haven't I? I think it's doing a hill start. Alright, brakes are off. But I have no power. Do we have to turn it off and turn it on again? You know what? Let's try put the AFB back to 0, put the AFB back up, and then go again. Oh, the brakes are back on. I don't like you, train. You're annoying me. Alright. On. Independent brake off. Main brakes off. Compressor's on. Something's happening. Can I give it power? Looks like a no. I've broken it. Oh, and my levers aren't linked anymore either. They were linked before. Oh, hang on. Got some power. Come on. You can do it. Way, there we go. I don't know what I did that was different. I have got it set over the speed limit, so let me just bring that down a bit. Alright, now let's continue on our way to Salzburg-Aigen and pretend nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay. Let's just go through the chat for a little while we're heading to our next station and try not to mess this up a second time. So I'll just pause the eye tracking while I look at the chat. Okay, we have Kobe's Hub Kobe has turned up. Hello, Kobe, how are you? I'm doing well. We have Mert Rowanell, and he says, hello, how is everything? And doing well, mate. Hopefully you are as well. And Gabriel Patcher, I'm hoping I haven't butchered your pronunciation of your name, who is from Austria, and thanks me for covering us through. So you're welcome, Gabriel. I like playing trains from all over the world. I even like the ones that bite me, like this one. Because, you know, it's kind of challenging, I guess. I'm going to stop at this station. You watch. This time for sure, Ollie. Going back into the chat again, we've got... I didn't read Chicago's last comments, I know. It's hard to read comments when I've got head tracking turned on. And we've got NJT. Apparently I need to ask him. I don't know what I need to ask him. What do I need to ask him? And Chicago wants me to read his last comments, and the answer is no, because people who need to read them can read them. They're not about Austria. Your comments are about Illinois in America, which is about as far from Austria as you can possibly get. There we go. Okay, let's stop. Actually, since we've got Gabrielle, who's from Austria... what's happened now? No, it's alright. It's okay. Is that sign meant to say, don't go on the tracks? Or is it a sign for the train driver to say, stop here? I'm curious. I'm not sure. I really don't know. And NJT, was I applying power with the brakes on? Yes, I was, because it wouldn't let me do anything else. Sometimes it wants the brakes on, and sometimes it doesn't. Alright, head tracking back on. And away we go. Actually, Gabriel, you might be able to help with something else too. Do Austrian train drivers toot the horn when they enter or leave stations? Here we go. We're going to Salzburg Arsch. And I apologise for my pronunciation of names because I'm bad at it. And I need to find the key to bring that PZB, the AFB down a little bit too, because we're only 90 zone. Off we go. Now I like this. See, in Austria and Germany and Sweden and France and other places that understand railways in Europe, you can go through a set of points at almost full line speed, and that's cool. And then you get to places like Australia and America and the UK, where they don't know how to make points properly, and you have to slow down. I'm not going to bother speeding up much, because we've got a station to stop at in half a kilometre. Ah, don't trespass is the sign. Thanks heaps, Gabriel. I just like the way it's conveyed with a shouty guy going, no! I suppose it wouldn't be no, would it? It'd be 9. And I'm going to stop too quickly. Still getting used to this train. Should probably stop before that signal, really, shouldn't I? Alright, let's go look outside. It's another station. Let's see what's around us this time. I can see some freight sitting over there in the siding. Some big blocks of flats, or apartments, however you'd like to call them. A cherry tree! That's cool. Do you know, that's 3 weeks running that we've had cherries in the game. How about that? That's just funny. What else we got? Got flowers? Trees? Well, it's time to go, isn't it? Better get back in the train. Excuse me. Alright. Brakes off. And wait for that pressure to come down. Let's try and power without the body pressure to come off. Yeah, it's working. So it's got some kind of hill start feature, but if you power up too much, it won't let you start. Okay. I'm starting to get the idea now. Maybe I should have read the manual before I played it. Would that have been a good idea? But we're getting there. Not even allowed to use the horn except in emergencies in Austria. So it's like Germany and the Swiss. That's cool. And you aren't even allowed to use it for fun. So when you see train spotters. That's okay. It does kind of fit my theory that, where are we stopping? We're stopping soon. I better start slowing down. It kind of fits my theory that in European nations, people are expected to look after themselves, and they're expected to be clever, and they're expected to understand that when train gates shut, that means you can't go on the tracks. Unlike our friends in America, where they want you to honk the horn for 3,000 kilometres before you get to the crossing, just to let you know that there might be a train coming through the crossing sometime in the next 3 days. That's going to make Chicago mad, isn't it? Actually, I'd say Chicago, that's not true. Chicago says that he uses the horns more than anywhere in the world. Young man, I've been to India. They use the horn more than anywhere else in the world because they're in a case it's more when they're not honking the horn versus when they are. Alright. Brakes on, open doors, let's go have a look outside. Looks like we're in a big freight yard. Let's go have a look. Let's go under the bridge. We're going to go through this freight yard anyway, so... But let's have a look while we're in the platform. Looks pretty big. Lots of track. Looks like it's all signalled, so you can probably use it. That's one cool thing about TSClassic. Really has TSW beaten. in that when you see a great big yard like this one, if you're making your own scenarios, you could use just about every bit of the yard. And that's really cool because even if it hasn't got markers for stopping and starting trains, you can just add your own. We need that in Train Sim World. Do you reckon this train will move if I'm over here? Let's try. I don't know if it will. It's all the way over there on the platform. Oh, it's thinking about it. It is. Whoa. So sometimes it believes the rail driver in the cab and sometimes not. Okay. That's cool. It is true NJT. In India, everything gets on the line. If you ever have the opportunity to go to India, I do actually recommend it. It's a massive culture shock for people of more European culture. So that's Europeans, Australians, Americans, etc. It is a huge culture shock going to India. Or places like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, similar sorts of things. But I do actually highly recommend it, and I'm going to blow through another station. Oh, the brakes. But not the emergency brakes. It's going to stop. Ooh, excellent. It does sound cool, doesn't it? I quite like its sound. Find the T key. I'm going to need to put some more buttons on my box if I'm going to keep using this thing. Let's have a look at the passenger view. Hello, passenger. How are you? Minding your own business, and this wanker just starts talking to you. Are there any other passengers? We can't get anywhere else, really, can we? We'll look out the window. It's a nice concrete wall. There's a tree. Well, you can kind of get up and down with the head tracker, but yeah, there's a limit to it. Another freight train up there. And we're supposed to go to Salzburg. Let's go. Brakes off. And NJT says if it's not wrong line running, if it's signal protected. It can still be wrong line running because people don't expect you to be on that line. Oh, I know what I did. I left the independent brake on. What a wally. Down they come. And back they go again. Down they come. Yeah, so I think that's the trick. You put on a little bit of power and the brakes come off. There we go. And then you just have to wait until the power comes on. I'm guessing that's a hill start. It's probably a deliberate feature. And I'd better find my C key, because my AFB was a bit high. And Gabriel says, level crossings in Austria almost everywhere have gates and flashing lights. From remote locations where there is nothing like this, you are required to use the horn before you go over once. Ah, cool. Yeah, it's a bit like Australia. Mostly we have gates and lights. Why did my wipers come on? I'm confused. Why did my wipers suddenly come on? Oh, and we're going a bit quick too, aren't we? We're being naughty. Oh well. And my wipers are still on. Let's try that switch setting. I was being just a tad naughty there on my speed. Grr, wipers. Is this our last station? No, we've got a while to go. I better figure out the wipers then. We'll figure out the wipers when we stop. Because I'm just trying to figure out where we're going at the moment.
Shift V might turn them off.
Yeah, Shift V, you reckon? Let's done something. I heard it go click. Could be it, Michael. Well done, champion. Do I have to get into the chat and sort you two out? The cargo and NJTE. There's nothing wrong with quiet zones. I didn't forget the US, Chicago. You're full of people that are overly protective, and they're overly protective because you sue each other at the drop of a hat. There are people who weren't even on the train on Amtrak who were suing Amtrak because they got distressed about the footage on television. And really, what is going on there? And I have to say NJTE is right, Chicago. Most crossings outside cities in the US aren't protected. They've just got crossbucks. It's only on major roads where they're protected. Because the US has about... I don't know where I'm getting this stat from, but I think it's something in the vicinity of 55,000 railroad crossings on roads. Nearly there, and that signal fortunately went green. That's good. Nearly there. We're not exactly arriving with Austrian time precision, but that's okay. We're only 5 minutes late. Australian transit, if it's the same day, it's all good. Ooh, how did I get up there? How do I get down again? Like that. Lots of freight sitting around in the yards here. Big station. Another train sitting over there. So welcome to Salzburg HBF. I've always translated HBF as big, but I assume it's some kind of transit thing. Gabrielle might be able to tell us. And NJT... Looks like Chicago's apologising to NJT. That's weird. Okay, Salzburg Mum Altstadt, I think. And our signal's green. Let's put a bit of power on and see what happens. Why am I up there? Oh, rail drivers. No. Have I bumped something? Ah. Oh, what happened there? Oh, we're back. I think I bumped my infrared things. Let's just center that. Is it F12? I think it's F12. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that centered it. Are we going to go, train? Or are we not going to go? Clearly we're not going to go. Alright. Brakes on. Brakes off. Power. Come on. Ooh, something's happening. Come on. More power? Train. Hello, train. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Come on, train. It's not going to do it. That was the gentlest stop ever before. Let me just try and put that on and release it again and see if that's doing it. Come on. I don't have traction lockout, so don't quite get what it's doing. More power. No. What are you set on? Let's try now. No, my head tracker's getting confused again. Let's pause it. Oh, now we're stuck down here. Alright, let's pause the head tracker while we're up here. So unfortunately this game turns off mouse look. So once the head tracker does something silly, you're stuck. Let's try putting the brakes all the way on. Let's have a look at the chat while we're waiting. NJT says HBF is Habanoff, which means big. Yep, okay, that probably would be. Alright, brakes are off. And they're coming down. Down to 0, bit of power. There we go. Now, I don't know what I really did differently there. Not sure. Better bring this down a little bit, though. We'll be speeding. Alright, off we go. This is promising. We're moving. We're moving. And Chicago is reminding us that he was born in the expensive country of Israel. Why is it expensive? I wouldn't describe it as expensive. And NJT wants me to wake up, or someone anyway. And apparently Chicago and NJT are rail fan siblings that keep getting their condolences out of hand. And I think they just keep fighting. Yeah, maybe the train was sleeping, NJT. And Chicago needs to create a second channel for the Empire Builder. Yeah, I'd be careful about creating multiple channels. It can work. But then you're just trying to maintain subscribers and things across multiple channels. That said, I have multiple channels, because I have one for trains and I have one for other stuff. I started putting my train stuff on my main channel. Come on, door. 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 Ah, you want me to move. You reckon I'm not close enough, don't you? Oi. What are you doing, head track? Why are you under the desk now? Right, that's better. I think I must have bumped my head tracking thing on my headphones at some point. Alright, stop. And open doors. Okay, now it works. Good. Now, is that thing... it feels vertical. And Gabrielle says HBF is Hauptbahnhof, but close enough. Cool. What else have we got? Chicago's talking about other channels. He's talking about the train saluting him even in quiet zones. Yeah, I really doubt that. Just saying. All right, brakes off. Let's go. Patiently waiting. Brakes on. Brakes off. Like Mr. Miyagi. Brakes on, brakes off. Brakes on, brakes off. Does anybody else think Mr. Miyagi was not talking about waxing a car when he was doing his brakes on, brakes off thing? Or wax on, wax off? I always thought he was talking about something else. Ah, victory! Victory! And we're allowed to accelerate, so let's put the AFB up to 100. Not that we really want to get off to 100, because here's our next station. These people clearly don't walk anywhere, because these stations are very close together. Actually, you know, I can understand that. I understand why they would be this close together. Because in summertime, yeah, you'd want to walk that sort of distance, that would be fine. No one would have that as a problem at all. But in wintertime, this place probably gets quite buried in snow, and the less distance you have to travel to get onto transit, the better, I would imagine. That's probably why they're so close together. Nearly there. Yay! I clearly need some more buttons on box. I need door buttons on box. Actually, I do have door buttons on box, but they're TSW door buttons. What else is there to look at in this cab? Do they do anything? No. Can't open that. How do you get in and out of this train? Where's the door? Where is the door? How do you get in? Let's have a look on the outside. I'm curious now. Where's the door? Oh, it's in the middle. Okay. So if this was in Transcend World where you can actually get out and wander around, you'd have to climb in there and then make your way through the engine compartment.
There it is.
Fair enough. And we're allowed to go. We're going to Salzburg Taxum Europark, Platform 3. Excellent. Or we're not. Brakes on, brakes off. Let the pressure drop. Presses on. I'm going to let it get below 1 and then I'm going to put some power on. Alright, off we go. That works. Okay, I've got to let it get below 1. Alright, that makes sense. We're learning. Let's give it massive grunt, because we're running late now. And Chicago says that's why he's at 543 subscribers. And you can find yourself on my Discord. I don't want to be on a Discord. I have enough Discords. And Chicago's plugging all of his friends in the chat. That's fine, but I'm not going to read them out. He really is going through all of them too. And NJT points out it's a major difference from the 182 door placement. And we're coming up to our next station. Let's get some brakes on. I think the head tracker gets confused when I pause it and my head's not in exactly the same place when I come back from pausing it. This train feels like it's going really slowly, but it's actually doing 25 k's. So I'm braking too early. It brakes really well, and I'm thinking it brakes really badly, so I brake early, and I shouldn't. It is my fault, not the train. So what do you guys think of having the head tracking on during stream? Is it something that I should do, or something I should not do? Because I kind of like it from a player's perspective, but I don't know if you guys like it. Oh, it's peaky.
That's okay.
It's peaky. I'm trying not to move around too much because I don't want to make people motion sick. I need to move that tiny little bit. Right. Brakes on. Door open. Yay! Okay. There's a lot of people in the train. Depends what angle you look at them from. That angle, there's a lot of people. In that angle, those people disappear and there's not so many people. It's interesting. Draw distances. There's Mr. City Shuttle Man down there who's not getting in. Let's watch a departure. Why not? From the platform. We can be a rail fan. We can be Chicago. Alright. Away we go. Will this work? Will this work? We'll be patient. It's moving. And while head tracking's off, I can have some coffee. And I can get rid of my now empty cup. Put it somewhere where the cat is bound to knock it off. And try and get in the back safe spot. There we go, back in the cab. And NJT asks, is the serial killer on this train? Oh, that's an interesting question. We'll have to go and have a look, won't we? And we're allowed to go up to 120 now. More power. We're going to Salzburg Liefering, platform 2. And Gabriel says on the newer OBB 1216, the ES64U4, the doors are at the front by the cab because they needed more space in the middle for the electronic stuff so it can drive to the Czech Republic, for example. And I'm going to overshoot this platform. All the brakes. All the brakes. Everything except emergency brakes. Oh, and I've gone through a signal as well, so I can't go back. Come on, stick on 0, stick on 0, stick on 0, stick on 0. Oh, we might get away with this. No, I don't think we will. But I've got a door in the platform. They should open. Really not. I have been through a signal, but if I don't put the Loco back through the signal, we can cheat a little bit here. Back we go. Maybe. Oh, brakes are off. Is it going to move? It's making power. Excuse me. Hiccups. Now, I've just got to be a bit careful here that I don't put the Loco through the signal. Yeah, this train stops when you stop powering. Come on. Alright, so we should have a whole carriage in the platform now. There we go. Now, while we're out, back to forwards. Independent brakes off, and we can look at the chat. Yeah, I was just talking about Gabriel's thing about driving to another country. Often the other countries insist on having their train control systems in the train, which means rack after rack after rack after rack, and the drivers actually have to switch between the train control systems as they move from country to country. So they use different radio systems, different signaling control systems, all sorts of stuff. It's quite interesting. It's probably mostly an issue in European nations where it's not unusual for trains to cross borders. It simply doesn't happen in Australia, across states. But even the states have different radios and signaling systems, I suppose, so it does happen. In America, in theory, everything conforms to the FRA, but in reality it's a little bit different. Because lots of the FRA stuff's voluntary. You don't actually have to do it. Alright, we're going to freelassing. I think I'm making this train bounce. I think I gave it too much power. It's bouncing like a little rabbit. Hello, Nestor. How are you? NJT says Colombia is one of the world's 17 mega-diverse countries, has the second highest level of biodiversity in the world. Well, that's an interesting little feature. And that looks like a yellow signal. It wants me to go down to 50. Okay. Too enthusiastic on the braking there. Oops, it was powering up again then. I still think it's kind of funny that the Siemens engineers made the traction motors of the trains follow the do-re-mi scales. Gabriel points out, yes, you need the different safety systems for different countries, and the trains need to adjust to the different overhead current. Yes, because different countries do run different power systems as well. It'd be wonderful if all these things could be standardised all around the world, but they can't even agree on the track width, let alone the power. Europe and America are a lot better on the track width front. In Australia, all of the states and territories got together in the late 1800s, and they all agreed on a particular track gauge. And then they all went away and built something else. No one built the track gauge they'd agreed to. It's kind of funny. That's a red signal up there. No, don't stop. Not yet, anyway. Oh, and Amtrak's heading back into Canada. There you go. The border's open. Countdown's on. Fast approaching a red signal. It's always that nervous moment for a driver. Should be about there, I think. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Welcome to Freelassing. Let's have a look outside. Actually, you know what? Let's go through the train and look for the serial killer. Not much in that train. No. 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 He's remarkably happy. No, no serial killers there. Oh, well, maybe. Look at that. Twins. Bad luck. You did not complete the scenario successfully. Oh no. I'm going to get kicked out of looking for serial killers too. There's a lot of very similar people in this train. That's okay. Yes, we blew through a station, I know. That's alright. Not really. Well, we made that one. So, we're going to do... What are we going to do? We're going to do freight delivery, just to be different. The OBB 1016 again, and then we'll be going over to a different route and the 1063. And wait until you see what it takes to make that one go somewhere. And I hope I can make it go somewhere, because I'll be finding something random to do for an hour if I can't. The instructions are big. Alright, so here's our little OBB again. We've got a double header. Awesome. Today you're driving a freight to Hayden. Be careful because it's raining. Yes, boss. What are we dragging? Looks like stones or something in the carriages there. Alright, we have got the right of way. We want to put on some wipers. Probably some headlights. Let's put on our cab lights and our instrument lights. No, it's too bright. Let's turn those off. Let's leave the cab lights on though. Wipers? Can we have wipers? Can has wipers? Can't has wipers. Alright. And let's just get some brakes on while we're waiting. That brake to release. I think the train's turned on. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. All I want to find is wipers. I need a control for wipers. Because it doesn't believe the rail driver. Headlights. Oh, headlights. Probably want some headlights. And what does that do? Cab and desk light. Okay. We need wipers. Where are the wipers? It's not that. Actually, while we're here, we can turn on AFB.
RFB, RFB, RFB.
Is there wipers down here? No. There's a telephone. There's nothing for wipers. Up top, maybe? No? I don't think we'll open the windows because it's wet. What about around here? Anything with wipers around here? These strange place put wipers around the back. You never know. Let's see if it'll believe the rail driver again. Oh, that's... The wiper switch is turning the headlights on and off. Weird. Ah, there we go. No, Shift B was turning them off. Okay. Now we want to go up to, what's our speed limit? 90. Up to 90 on the AFB and release brakes. And some power. And wait. And wait. And wait. And wait. I did put it forwards, didn't I? I did. It's going to play games, isn't it? Go on, you. Why does it just sit there? Let's try this because it worked before. Brakes on. Brakes off. Wait for the pressure to come down. Below 1. Some power on. There we go. Scripting wants you to do things in a particular order. Ooh, this load feels a little bit heavier than the passenger carriages. Since we have green signals, let's watch our train move. Certainly taking its time accelerating. You can only go up to 78% power in the rail driver in this loco. We've got 26 kilometres to go. That's not such a long train. The distant scenery is nice. Lots of detail down there. That's pretty cool. Smiley face signs. I know they mean something. Is that saying? I just missed a gratuitous bridge shot, didn't I? That's a green signal. Whoa, violence. I'm going just a little bit quick, aren't I? Why is it going to stay on? Is it going to stay on? Oh, that was close. That was close. That was very close. Funny. I don't know how I stayed on there because I was doing nearly 3 times the speed limit. Now we're allowed to go faster again now. We're allowed to go to 100. Maybe I should pay attention to these things, you reckon? New high score, you reckon, in JTE? 0. Yeah, that was just a little bit close. I should probably pay attention because I was looking at the signal going... I shouldn't move my head around like that because you want to get seasick. That's just being mean, isn't it? Yep. Pay attention. Pay attention. A little bit. Cruising up to 100 kilometres an hour. It's an interesting structure off on our right here. Spiral parking thing. It's kind of cool that you can look out the windows. So a shopping centre, I'm guessing, by the looks of it. Euro Plaza. There you go, shopping centre. Hello, people. Bye, people. You're not rocks, so I won't be picking you up. And it's warning that we have to come down to 100, but we're only doing 100. We've got a 60 zone coming up, which isn't terribly far away. That's really sad, NJT. It's never cool when someone that young succumbs to a horrible disease like cancer. Never cool at all. A friend of mine's going through chemo at the moment. And he's completely stopped talking to us all except for through Twitter and Flickr. It's his only communication now. He's not answering phone calls. Won't answer text messages. That signal's a bit flickery. It's hard to tell what it wants. AFB's doing its thing. Yeah, stage 4 is the untreatable one. That's when it's gone so rampant there's just not much you can do. There's a piece of mountain missing up there. It's resolved itself now. Are we crossing over again? No? Why do we have to slow down so much? Oh, it's routing us through the yards. Okay. We don't get to go down the passenger tracks, we have to go through the yards. Not going on the grand tour. Wow, that even felt rough at 60 k's. Well, that's because we're supposed to be doing 40. I'm betting some part of the signalling system warned me that we were supposed to be doing 40. But the HUD didn't give me a warning of 40, we just went there. That was like a different train. Let's jump out of here. But look, that's different. That's a 1293. Oops. That must be one of the ones that's only an AI. That's pretty cool. And I'm betting you can buy it as a DLC and then you'll be able to drive it. Looks like it's made for a different track based on the pilots. Cool. Oh well, back to our train. We're allowed to go up to 60, but I don't believe it. Hello, Antcraft. Yes, I agree. It is a very horrible thing. And Antcraft lost their nan, and her mum, her gran died not even 6 months later. Yep, that is quite possible. Humans do tend to do that. Sadly. You know, I lost my dad to it as well, so I know the feeling. 'Tis not nice. By the sounds of things, we found one rail joint on this railway. The tracks go up over an overpass there. Not ours, obviously, but someone's. Be a good spot for a gratuitous bridge shot. See, I knew keeping it at 40 was a good idea. I just had this feeling. That's kind of cool, going on a tour of all the freight yards. I mean, it's a massive map. You look at this thing. It's huge. That's the yards we're going through. But massive, massive map. So much of it. Plenty of opportunity for making your own scenarios. Yeah, I know the feeling, Antcraft. Time dulls it, but doesn't stop it, doesn't make it go away. How is the Austrian route? Yeah, it's an interesting route. It's quite big. I think it's pretty well modelled. The 1016's got its quirks, but I'm getting used to it. And right now we appear to be going on the grand tour of all of the freight yards via this scenario, or service rather. No, it is a scenario, isn't it? They're all scenarios in TSC. I hope that signals it proceed. I always forget whether it's 2 horizontals means proceed. Yes, it does. We survived. In America, it's usually the diagonal signals mean go, and the flat ones mean stop. Yeah, we need wipers again, don't we? That's why it was getting dark. Yeah, we probably need some brighter headlights. No, that's too bright. Too bright. Yeah, bugger it. We'll put up with our uber bright controls. It's interesting that power meters are showing that it's powering. It sounds like it's powering, but it's not producing any power, but it says it is. Whatever. I hope that's not my signal. Will we survive? Yes. There's my signal. It's green and yellow bits. Antcraft says the new LIRR one looks cool. Not sure on it though. Like, I know a lot of skilled people have worked on it, but part of me feels like it could have been used on the one in TSW. Yeah, it's different people work on the different routes for the most part between the two games. There actually has been some crossover in this one because Brendan, who you may know as Cactus Juice, worked on both. He worked on the signalling in Harlem. So it would be nice if they revisit LIRR in TSW2 one day, but I suspect there are other priorities before that will happen. Still going on the big yard tour here. Kind of cool. Yeah, it comes down to the different people do different things. So, with apart from Brandon, the other people that work on it don't do TSW; they do TSC. And there's been some pretty heavy community involvement in this one too. I think the community will come out with the other car sets pretty quickly, to be honest with you. I think we'll see workshop content. Or we'll see private content. I can't talk much about LIRR because I know it's been announced and I know some of it's announced, but well, I don't remember exactly what's announced and what's not, and I've been beta testing it, so I won't talk much about it if you don't mind, because I don't want to get myself into poo. because I like being able to beta test stuff and I don't want to jeopardize it. Oop, another train. Squeeze vision. That one's a container train by the looks. Oh, we're allowed to speed up too. We should. More power. Yeah. The tool set for TS is certainly a lot more widely available. Looks like my locomotive's trying to counter slipping here, and it's doing a good enough job by itself, so I'll just let it do that. I've got to come back down to 90. Didn't even get up to 100, and we've got to come down to 90. There you go. Back through another small yard by the looks of things. I know Dovetail have a strong desire to get some kind of public editor out, but they haven't been able to for various reasons. The only thing I can tell you about their reasons is that they are legitimate reasons. It's not just because they don't want to, it's not because they want to contain it. They just have a serious problem that they can't do anything about. But I'm hoping that at some point in time someone clever will go, I know what to do about that, and they'll solve it. And Brad says, back to Salzburg, visited there about 4 years ago using an Europal pass. It's a beautiful city surrounded by rail yards. It certainly seems to be surrounded by rail yards, that's definitely true. And if it's anything like what's modelled here, then yeah, it's probably quite pretty. I've been to some parts of Europe. I've been to Greece. Very brief time in Turkey. But I think I've done a stopover in Frankfurt once. But, you know, just never left the airport. But there is the community editor for TSW. It's looking interesting. They're progressing pretty well. They won't be able to lay track and signalling systems because that requires code, because you have to be able to build the dispatcher, and the dispatchers are individually built for each route. They share the same core, but each route has its own features. You won't be able to do that, sadly, in that editor. So you could build something that looked like a route, but I don't think you could make it run unless you could find some way to hack the dispatcher from another route into it, which, who knows what's possible. Modders are pretty clever. They manage to do things that no one ever expects them to be able to do, which is cool. Looks like we've gotten out into the countryside now. Semi-rural place. We've only got 8 kilometres to go. Where did time fly? With our close calls through the yards there. Antcraft says, ridden the Acela Express and the NER in real life. Pretty cool experience. Track quality is significantly rougher than the track here in the US. And agrees the unofficial TSW editor is quite cool. Yeah, it's progressed to the point that I'll probably start having a play with it soon, because it looks like you can build some interesting scenarios and you can still publish them. So I would like to be able to build more than you can build in TSW today, I think that would be good. It's alright, mate. I think we got it. It's all good. Yeah, if you've watched some of my other streams, you would know that I was ticketed to ride the Acela once, but it had broken. So I got to ride a normal one. Still electric. That was between Philadelphia and New York. And I deliberately flew into Philly even though I needed to go to New York. Partly because I was travelling with a workmate and her family was there. But also so I could ride the Acela, because I wanted to. But life didn't work out that way, did it? But the fun bit about that is she left Philadelphia by plane and flew to JFK, I think, and then met me back in New York, because we were meeting with the MTA and we had to go to Grand Central Station to meet them. And I still beat her there. So it is definitely quicker to go from Philly to New York by train than it is to fly. Getting a bit tired there, Antcraft. 1 AM. 4Ks to go, and then we'll be switching over to the OBB 1063, which is another RSSLO release. We'll be doing that on a different route as well. The route for that one is Tyrol-Brenner-Kufstein. It's a route that's been out for a while, but 1063 is brand new, so we'll be having a look at the 1063 and Antcraft Road between New York and DC. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that in 2019, which is when I went to New York. I wanted to go down to DC and then hire a car and go up to the Cass Scenic Railway in West Virginia, whichever one it is. But didn't really work out time-wise. I just couldn't make it fit in with the rest of my schedule. But you never know. My partner and I were thinking of doing New York and UK and probably cross over the channel and head into Europe next year, but economic factors probably aren't going to support that anymore. So we're coming into a 40 zone, so I've got to slow down. Because that looked like the signals we got last time when I had to come down. Oh, there we go, just gone down to 40. Yeah, go for it, Antcraft. Hello, Neil TB8. Welcome. How are you? We'll just quickly pop out and have a look at the pantographs. Whee! Of course. Yeah, they probably would be the other way around. Gabrielle, you're right. That kind of looks like red signals up there, doesn't it? Got power off. Since we're almost at our destination for this one, and then we're going to swap over to the 1063, which is going to be an interesting experience. Yeah, we'll see if next year's trip actually manages to come off or not. We've got quite a few things that we need to do to our house at the moment. We've had some problems with the roof. And at the moment, just keeping our house moderately warm. Gas prices have skyrocketed in Australia. I'm paying $800 every 2 months to heat the house at the moment, which is a lot. So it'd be nice to get over there and have a play with the Acela. We'll have to see the new one. Glad you're doing well, Neil TV8. If you haven't watched Neil TV8's channel, lots of fun. Quite a different approach to streaming. That's quite cool. I quite like it. I don't get to watch too much of Neil's live stuff because I'm usually asleep when that's on. But watching afterwards is cool. This is a little nerve-wracking, coming this close to a red signal to stop. But we're going to be okay. Tick over to the 0, come on. Oh, that's alright, it's going to believe me anyway, it's all good. And I think we just finished this scenario. Not wrong, I think. Yep, that's all of it. So let's see if it thinks I'm any good or not. So this is our last look around the 1016 before we move to the 1063. Now I apologise in advance with the 1063. We're very proud of the way you've driven today. Look at that. You know, you almost derailed it. You almost turned it upside down, but we're very proud of you. That's like being that kid at school who's not very good and the teachers go, "We're really proud of your effort." Yep. Okay. Alright, so we now need to change to, let's go to career mode. And we want 1063. There it is, the OBB 1063 on Tyrrell Brenner Kufstein. And let me just chuck the links for the route into the chat. And let me chuck the link for the locomotive into the chat. And the usual disclosure, I was given this free to show to you. And let's have a look before we jump in there. The route's on special at the moment. It's an older one, I think. When did this come out? Yeah, I think it was about... It doesn't actually say, but I think it was about 2016, 2017, something like that. But 150 kilometre route from Brenner, Italy, Kufstein, Austria. And it has the OB 1016, which is the one that we were driving, but now it's also got the 1063. So let's have a quick look at that one, because the focus of this isn't the route, obviously. The focus is the 1063. So it's a TS Pro locomotive. What does Pro mean? Pro means it's annoying. Realistic, sorry. Yeah, let's use the right words. Realistic. Got a very complex cab, which you'll see in a moment. And I have to apologise a little bit in advance because having head tracking turned on is going to make this a bit of a pain in the ass, but I have to stop the game to kill head tracking, otherwise I won't have mouse look. So, built in the early 1980s, the OBB 1063... My chat window disappeared. Oh, no, there it is. Built in the 1980s, the OBB 1063 was designed in response to the previous decade's oil crisis. So it's more electric locomotives. It's a fairly general purpose locomotive. The prototype was the E1200, and they built 50 of them apparently. Last one rolling out in factory in 1991, so they're not that old. The central driving cab, so it's a steeple cab essentially. Perfectly suited to shunting operations, offering a panoramic view of freight yards. Yeah, I don't think I'd describe a view as panoramic, but there you go. Only a handful have been retired, so they're still in use today on shunting duties, and RSSLO has brought it out for train sim. And it's aimed for the serious train simulation enthusiast. Looking at a complex machine to master. They aren't kidding. You get 3 scenarios. Coal from Genbach, freight for Innsbruck, and morning passenger train. You need the route to get to play the scenarios, but it works on any route, so it's fine. You can just add it to others if you don't want this route. Realistic, authentic cab and controls. Realistic startup and changing console sequences. Distance activated CIFA, so it's every 1,060 kilometers, I think, something along those lines. And it's quick drive compatible. Well, yeah, it's quick to get in. I'll give them that much. All right. Now, I don't know how much you'll be able to see of this. I need to keep my face there, it'll go weird. But this is the startup instructions. And this. And this, and this, and this. So you're going to see me flicking around the instructions a bit. I'm going to try and keep them in front of me so that the head tracking doesn't drive you bonkers while I'm trying to do it. All right, coal from Genbach. Here we go. Now, I just warn you, it's going to take probably about 10 minutes just to get the locomotive started. Now, when, and I feel for him, I really do. The look on his face was sad. But when British Ace tried to run this thing, he got it to move a couple of feet and it died. I've had the same experience. You are driving a freight train to Warrigal. See, here the locals call it, we've got a town called Warrigal and they call it Wargle. Anyway, let's try this thing. Let's have a look around it first. So it's a pretty generic electric locomotive. It's got a high steeple cab. Looks kind of like a red aircraft carrier, I guess. But it looks cool. And I think once you get it moving, it's kind of cool. Let's try. This is going to be interesting. All right. Can I turn the lights on yet? No, I can't. All right. So here we go with our startup procedure. Let me just put a crease in this so it doesn't fall over because it'll get annoying. Head tracking is already getting annoying for you, but we'll just have to put up with that, won't we? All right. First up, we need to turn on the battery, which is down here. Okay. Battery's on. Lights came on. Good sign. Can I have cab lights now? I can, but they're weak. Okay. Insert the contact key and turn it on. The contact key is here. If I can get onto it. I'm just going to turn off the HUD. Make it a bit easier to see stuff. I'm reaching through a chair here. Come on. All right, we're on. We're turned. Good. Switch the pantograph contact key. That's down the back there somewhere. Okay. That's on now. We're going to do the raising the pantograph procedure now, but first we have to look at the helper apparatus. So let's just flip over here because we need to look. Okay, we don't have enough pressure. So this needle here, it's sitting on the 5. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit on that. No, it changes the perspective. There we go. So it's sitting just under 5. That's not enough pressure. So now we have to turn on the helper compressor, which is down here somewhere. Come on. Okay. Now we've got to wait for that needle. Got to wait for that to go up a bit. There we go. The needle's going up now. Need it to go up a little bit more and then we'll be able to raise the pantograph and get some real power. At the moment we're running on batteries. I can't look at the chat at the moment. Alright, I think we've gone up high enough now to get to the pantograph control, which is down here. Can I reach it? Yes. Okay, we should have a pantograph now. Sounds like it just hit the wires. And the compressor's running harder, which is good. Where is the power meter? Can't see anything that tells me that we've actually... Oh, there we go. Yep, we've got power. Okay, that needle's right. And we've 15 kV. Perfect. So we can look outside and just see the pantograph had gone up, I suppose. You know, there's something I just noticed in the distance there. Oh, don't zoom in on Loco. I don't know if you noticed the dump truck dumping stuff. I so wish TSW did that, but it doesn't. It'll make you sick. Okay, now, next. We've turned on the compressor. We've got to turn on the main switch. Okay, so we need 7.5 bar or more on that one we were looking at just before. What have we got? I'd say we're pretty close. Ideally, I want to be up about there. We're not there yet. So let's turn on main switch, picture one, number 10. Let's make sure I get the right main switch because there's actually a couple of them. Yeah, it's on that console. Okay. So it's there. No, that didn't do it. I don't think I've got enough pressure yet to do it. Might have to wait. Actually, let's just try and go over here and try and do it. No, come on. Is there one on my console? Maybe I can use the one over here. No, it won't go yet. Oh. Something happened then. I think that did it. Okay. Turn on the main compressor and turn it on to A. That's over here. Alright. Now we got to wait for pressure to come up. You want to turn on the Loco brake valve now, which is that one, I think. Okay, done that. And now we want to put the train brake lever in activation to D. I'm going to need to change consoles, I think. Let me just find that one. Picture 3, number 3. So these are all in the manual. The manual's available on the Steam page. Picture 3, number 3. Okay, so that's directly behind me, I think. That one. Which I probably can't see from this angle. No, so I'll have to change to the center one and try and see it from there. No. It's not this console. Must be the console over here. That one. That's the one. Now I want to go to the middle position first. Very important to go to the middle position first. Now I have to turn on the C for air valve, which is behind me. It's that. Come on. Stop moving, head. Yay, got it. Now you put the train brake lever activation into I. Anybody who thinks this is unrealistic, by the way, I work on real locomotives, and you're in and out of the cab all the time getting them set up. Just our diesels on the railway I work on, it's probably a good 15 minutes for the startup sequence. Release the spring brake. Okay, that's this one. Alright, so we've released the spring brake. Set the direction of travel on the console you want to drive, so that's over here. And we can do that with the rail driver, I think. Yep. Alright. Now what do we want to do? Cipher valve should be on. It is. That needs to be in neutral. All the other ones need to be in neutral as well. That one is. That one is. What about the one over here? That one is too. Good. I have had times when I've settled into my console only to discover that they're not in neutral. Right, now we have to release the train brake. And we should have enough air to release the brake, and we do. So let's do that. Now the biggest challenge I find is these levers are black on a black desk. Right, so we've released the two brakes. All the other brakes should be off as well. Loco brake levers should be on neutral, that's fine. Headlights, okay. This is another one that's a bit weird to get to. We want to come round to there, I think is right. Let's have a look outside. Yes, we have headlights, good. And now we need to turn on the ventilation, which is not that one. That one. Come on. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I succeeded in turning that on or not. I guess we'll know in a moment, won't we? Because apparently it's now ready to move. That was an interesting procedure, wasn't it? Now, at this point, I need to do some things. I need to make sure I don't want its CIFA on. And I definitely don't want its PZB on, because we're never going to go anywhere if we do that. Now, this one is not rail driver friendly. And I have got the rail driver plugged in, so it may interfere, but let's try. Will it move? Come on. Or have I done something wrong? That worked this time. And power! We have power!
That's rather complicated.
Oh, I had my mic off. Victory! Yay! It is a bit complicated. And I got a very dry throat talking that through. But I didn't want to stop in case I lost my place. Now, you can use your keys to work this, but not rail driver. Let's put our HUD back on so I know how fast I'm supposed to be going. Yes, it is certainly really black on really black. Now, it doesn't hurt. If I turn off RW Enhance, it's a little bit better. But I did have to change my graphic settings. You can just see them. So they're kind of dark grey on black, and I can just see the levers. The first time I tried to get into this, I was rather unsuccessful, I'm afraid. Oops, I'm going a bit quick. Let's just slow that down a bit. That's putting some brakes on, I think. No, it's still going up. Come on. There we go. Now we're slowing down. Coming into a tunnel. Just turn the cab light on before we go into the tunnel. Otherwise I'm not going to see a thing. Oh, now we're allowed to speed up anyway. So it is very hard to see in here. You're kind of happy to have made it move. It is a bit to get it going. And they're not kidding that it's for the... Excuse my coughing today. It's been 2 weeks since I've had the dreaded zombie disease, and I'm still getting over it. It's made me super sensitive to cold air. Yesterday when I was working on the railway, it was about 4 degrees Celsius, and I was struggling to breathe a little bit, to be honest. But I think everybody in the chat knows, but I do actually work on a real railway. It's not one of those dump trucks dumping things. They're still climbing in speed. Wonder what its horn sounds like. Clown horn. Didn't we have stones in there before? Oh. Once you get it moving, which is quite an effort, but I reckon if you did that 10 times, I reckon you'd remember it, because I'm mostly remembering where the controls are now. So I don't have to refer to my manual so much. So I think as you get used to it, you're probably going to become more proficient. You could probably step through that sequence in 3 or 4 minutes, rather than, I'm pretty sure it probably took us about 10, 15 to do that. 10 or 15 for a locomotive setup is not at all unrealistic for an electric or a diesel locomotive. And that one, you might think it's a bit weird from a design perspective that you would go everywhere in the cab. Let's just say that locomotives are not generally designed for ergonomics, and they're purely engineering, so they put switches and levers wherever they'll fit and wherever it's cheap to put the piping into them. Those are generally the things that they're looking at. You can't really believe the HUD on this thing, by the way. For your brakes and your throttle and things, it's just bollocks what it's telling you there. You just have to watch the levers and look at the gauges for what you're doing. So right now we're not actually using any power, which is fine. In the central part of Australia, it certainly gets below zero in the desert at night time, but yeah, usually pretty warm during the day. I live on the southern coast, so around about the same distance down as the South Island of New Zealand. So it does get cold here. We are using some power now. Just trying to keep an eye on how it works. Now I have found this thing, the CIFA works fine. I'm not turning it on at the moment because I'm just not used to the locomotive enough. I've tried, it didn't go well. The CIFA goes off, ironically it's a 1063 because it's about every 1063 metres. I think it's every 1050 metres, something like that. CIFA goes off. It does talk to you. Well, I think it makes a noise rather than talks. And it works, but yeah, get used to the loco before you turn it on. I encourage that with any loco that's not using cab signalling. If you're using cab signalling, you need to have your safety systems on from the start or you'll never get used to it. But for things like CIFA, you can turn them on later after you get used to things. What's that doing? So we put on a little bit more power. We're still on a flat gradient, but we're slowing down. I want to speed up a little bit. Alright, we're now speeding up. We are using power. I'm looking at the gauge here. I think, am I sharing my cursor? I think I am. Oh, gratuitous bridge shot. Missed it. Damn. Oh, more bridge. More bridge. More bridge. Quick bridge. 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 Gratuitous bridge shot. Gratuitous bridge screenshot. Have to do it. This route is also using a lot of the assets that RSSLO has developed for the other Austrian routes, which shouldn't surprise too much. Oh, I hope that's not a red signal. No, it's green. Good. It's all good. It's all good. I panicked there for a moment. So the route itself's quite nice, but like I said, it is a bit of an older one. It's been around for a while. But the train's kind of cool once you can get it working. Looking through the chat, Antcraft was surprised about the 4 degrees. Chicago reckons he's in notch 8. Good on you. And Chicago says, in Australia the weather's colder than because you're south of the equator. No, it's not colder because you're south of the equator. Your hottest weather is at the equator, and the further you get away from the equator, the cooler it gets, generally speaking. But we do have, in summer, times in the mid-40s. It's not unusual at all. It's quite normal. Last couple of years we've had La Nina weather, which is wet summers, so it hasn't been as hot. You have a strange view of the world, Chicago. Go do some learning. Antcraft says, fair enough, and that too. People associate deserts with boiling temperatures, but there really isn't anything to hold the heat in the ground, so none of the warmth from the day. Yeah, once the sun goes, they do get cold. Maintaining our speed at the moment on our way to Wargle. The distant scenery is quite nice. There's a bit of popping in happening here and there with trees. It's one of those things that's hard to balance. If you remember the Train Sim New Zealand route we played a few weeks ago with the JA steam engine and the electrics that we played, they have the trees drawing a lot further away, but that causes pauses. So it comes down to what you prefer, I suppose. Do you prefer some pop-in on your distant hills as you get closer to them, or do you want the pauses in the game and you have the distant scenery looking good all the time? It's a hard balance to make, really. I'm not quite sure what the right answer is there. And that right answer is probably different for different people. And Brad says that he's learning C for PZB and LZB was very frustrating, but now he really enjoys driving German and Austrian routes. The thing, in TSW I've gotten quite good with PZB. I can just use it as I drive. I'm quite okay with it. But I find that the TSC implementation is... it's only a little bit different, but it's different enough that it messes me around. And usually when I'm driving TSC, I don't turn it on. But if you can cope with the two different systems, then go right ahead. Looks like the other gauges are live on the other consoles, which is cool. I'm not sure if you can open windows or do blinds or anything. It doesn't look like it. Oh, something's openable there. You can open those windows, okay, but not these ones. Can you open this one? No. What about the other side? What can you do over there? Yeah, same. Yeah, the door. Look at that. You open this door. You can open the door. I find that a novelty on TSC because you can't get out. Does it show the doors open from the outside? It does. Nice. Small victories. And looking back at the chat, Antcraft couldn't imagine it being hot for Christmas. Well, you know, 40-degree Christmas is not unusual here. But we'll all do the big roast anyway and heat up our houses with our ovens cooking everything. Because that's the way we are. We're almost there. Only 8 kilometres out. That's cool. Chicago says... yes, it is. Yeah, that's what you usually fall back to. In Utah in the summer, it gets as low as 30 Fahrenheit at night after thunderstorms. I've been to Utah. I've been to the Great Salt Lake. I have been covered in flies at the Great Salt Lake. It's not very great, and it's very smelly. That's okay. And Antcraft agrees that the hottest weather is at the equator for sure, but also the most stable year-round. That's very true. Yes. And Brad says switching between TSC and TSW2 alert systems can be a bit tricky. Yes, indeed, because they're just not quite the same. Looks nice over there, doesn't it? I have to say this is one thing I like about the head tracking is I can turn around and look out the windows. Oh, we've got another train coming. Yeah, that says I'm supposed to be stopping in Wargle Siding 1, but Wargle Kundal's coming up. There's another 1063. Are its carriages full? Let's see when we go past. Yes, they are. Well, that makes sense. Empties one way, loads the other. Very good. 6 kilometres to go. I'm guessing by the ZS poles that this also has that safety system too, but I'm not sure if the locomotive has it. That's the one that a Rosa uses.
Opening and closing the doors doesn't seem to make any difference to the sound, so it doesn't use sound occlusion the way TSW does, but I'm not sure this old engine supports it. NJT says in 100 years the Northern Hemisphere will have Christmas in the summer and the opposite for the Southern Hemisphere. I don't know about that. It's certainly changing, but I don't know if it's changing quite that much. What could happen though, which would be very interesting if it happened, I'm not sure if it's ever happened with humanity in existence, is a pole shift. That could be quite entertaining. Things like the electricity grid won't actually work if we have a pole shift until it can be adjusted for the other pole. And a pole shift could happen at any time. I was reading, I mean, it's been over the last few years, there's lots and lots more research going into it, but there's more and more scientists actually think we're pretty close to it happening. It's where the Earth's magnetic poles flip over. North becomes south and south becomes north. It'll be interesting. Coming down to 100 zone, but that's okay because we're already doing 100 because we're a freight train. We're not allowed at more than 100. You can drive Truck Simulator over there. I tried one of those the other day. Let's just say it didn't go very well. The ambassadors have a forum where we share stuff with each other, and I posted a picture of my truck in a river saying this is why I drive trains. Yeah, during a pole change it would be very interesting, Brad. No one knows, is it something that happens over days, weeks, months, years, or is it something that happens instantaneously? No one really knows. I better start slowing this thing down, I guess. So if you're familiar with the 612 in Train Sim World, it's one of those where you just pop the handle to get more of whatever you're doing, more Bremsen or more Fahren and Bremsen, which is basically faster and slower. Ooh, I'm supposed to be doing 40. I think we need some brakes. Lots of brakes, maybe. Lots more brakes. More brakes. Now I'm slowing down properly. I might just pull this off. If I actually manage to get to the end of a scenario, I have to say I'll just have a little bit of pride in it. I'll be the first of the ambassadors to succeed in doing it. And we're getting there. Half a K to go. Oh, it's double-headed over there. That's kind of cool. I like all the little noises it's got, like rubber bolster blocks rubbing and things like that. It's kind of cool. Just starting it to slow down with the traction motors. How many ambassadors are there? That's an interesting question, actually. There's no list that I've ever seen. There's quite a few people in that Discord, but I don't know if everybody's active. So I don't really know the answer to your question, I'm sorry. There's lots of freight wagons here. That should put us back in neutral. It has. Oh, I wouldn't do that, Chicago. I shared it in chat once and got bombarded by spam. Nearly there.
By none other.
It wasn't. In fairness, it wasn't just him. Oh, my head tracking went a bit funny for a moment there. 0.2 to go. 0.1. I'm not sure how close we are to this signal. You know, I'm stopping here. I don't care. Well, it's just ticked over to 0 anyway. Now, how close are we to that signal? Well, that's pretty close. That's a lot of tractors. Great job! Awesome. And guess what we're doing now? We're doing it again! Well, not the same one. Excuse me. Hiccups. Freight or passenger? That's the question. That's the question. So that one's in the morning in summer. This one's in winter with snow. What do we reckon? Freight or passenger? Summer or snow? Choose wisely, community. I'll wait. That's good advice, NJTE. You've got to be a little bit careful giving out your contact details. Strange things can happen. So what do we reckon, folks? Summer or winter? Passenger or freight? And we have to go through that setup procedure again. NJTE says passenger. What does Michael say? Chicago saying he's being careful, but he's going to give his Discord out to everybody.
Passenger.
That's 2 for passenger. All right, let's go for passenger. Go for throttle up, Challenger. Boom. Too early for that joke? No, never. Gabrielle says passenger. Chicago says both. See how we go for time. Woggle, platform 8. All right. No console activated. Interestingly, some of the pop-up messages you get are not in English, so some of them are localized and some of them are not. All right. Now, is this locomotive alive or do we have to start it up? No, we have to start it up, I think. So, battery and contact key. Come on, contact key. Turn the contact key. Good. And switch on the pantograph contact key. Over there. Good. Now, this one's, yeah, like the other one. Let's just go back to the middle so make it easier to see. The pressure is very low, so we have to switch on the compressor down here. You do have to check, because I've actually had it once where you didn't need to do this. I can't quite get on the button here. Whoa, that went a bit weird. That went a bit weird. Right. Switch is here, or is it in this bank? No, it's here. Can't get on it for nuts. Let's get rid of the HUD. How do I end up out here? Oh yeah, wrong button. Wrong button. Hey! God, so close. Got it! Okay, how's our pressure? Watching the black needle on this second gauge. Am I sharing my cursor? Hopefully I am. Then you can see what I'm looking at. So we're watching that one. It's got to come up above 5. So if I go over to this console and look behind me, might be easier to see. There we go. So it's coming up on 5 now, but it's got to be above 5 to put the pantograph up. Oh, that's crawled over the line, so let's go back over here now. We should be able to put the pantograph up. Yep, it's gone up, and our kilovolts has just gone up, which is good. Excuse me. Okay, turn on the main switch. We have to be at 7.5 bar, so let's just come over here and have a look. How are we doing on the pressure? Come over to this console. Alright, let's have a look now. Nearly there. Probably high enough that we can try. There's not really any indicator that that actually did anything, but it made a noise. Okay, turn on the Loco brake valve, which is the little switch here. Okay. And we're going to be driving from this position again, I think. So put the train brake lever activation to D. That's right. We've got to go back over here, because that's on this console, that one. Yeah, we'll do that to the first switch. But definitely not round to I, because that doesn't do good things. Then the CFA valve. I think the CFA valve was next. Let me check. Yes, and now we put that to I. Alright, and release the spring brake, so we're back around here again. Okay, that's released. Go back to the console that you want to sit at. And we should be able to have cab lights now. And instrument lights. Yep. And we want to select the direction of travel. Forwards. Good. Release the train brake, which is that one. And release that one. And then we want to turn on headlights. So that's background here. We need to turn that to the 3 dots. There, I think. So that should have headlights on now. Looks like it does. And it does. Excellent. We're doing okay. And we turn on ventilation. Alright, that seems to have done that. Now, wipers. Good. Let's turn the HUD back on. And we're allowed to leave. But can we? That's the question. It's making power. Oops, I know something we haven't done yet. Let's just come back to neutral. Let's kill CFA, kill PZB. Okay. Then we're moving. Hooray! Cool, you wouldn't want to roll back there, would you? Oh, there he is. There he is. There's serial killer guy. He's on this train. You always know the one. And we're going to Kirk Beachy Platform 1. I hope I didn't pronounce that too awfully. Let's get some speed up as we cruise along here. Oh, the wipers only work on the console you're at. Oh, there's other stuff. Ooh. Up here, I used mouse zoom at the same time. There's a distance counter, which I think you can reset. Oh, you can test the lights, can you? Look at that. There's a clock. And I think you can reset the distance counter, but I can't quite get my cursor onto it. But I thought you could set it to 0. And yes, I had to wake it up. But that was quicker than last time, wasn't it? I'm speeding, but I'm coming up to a 150
Yeah, much
zone.
quicker.
I'm coming up to a 150 zone, so I'm not going to worry about speeding. She'll be right, mate. It's all good. No one noticed. But I'm only allowed to go to 100 kilometres an hour because that's the max for this train. And 2.5 kilometres to go. I think I'll start using less power. That's a good idea. So we're just rolling now. Still picking up speed because, of course, we're going downhill. And it is actually fairly steep. So I think I might just put on a bit of electric braking. Not quite sure how quickly this will stop. So I'm only putting on a little bit of electric braking because we're still 1.8 kilometres out. Don't think I'll open the windows though, we'll get wet. Yeah, water on glass in TSC is nicer than TSW. Who said that? I didn't say that. Wasn't here. Can't prove a thing. It's not on the internet at all. 1.25 Ks. Let's put a bit more braking on. I like this effect that's happening here. That's cool. Someone probably spent days on that code. How's our train coming? It's still following us. I really wish the head tracker worked outside the train. That would be really, really good for making... Go back to neutral. Good for making cinematic things, I think. Because no matter how good your mouse is, it's not very smooth. And if you could just look at the things you wanted to track and go, "Whee, how much better would that be?" Yeah, it does, Aircraft. It feels nicer. Here's our station. This feels like I've got enough brakes on. It's only electric braking at the moment. I've not put the train brake on at all yet. In fact, this is going to stop too quickly, I think. Just going to neutral will do. And normal brakes. Oh, that's not bad. Got to be happy with that. I should put this back to neutral, I guess. Oh, riding bicycles in the snow, you'd be game, wouldn't you? Bikes are very thin, aren't they? Very thin bicycles. Doors are open. Away we go. Okay, so
I see people do it here in the winter.
brakes off. We get cyclists in the winter, but you know, our winter doesn't snow. Well, not usually. Does happen every now and again. So we're supposed to be at the next station at 16:13. Well, that's not happening. There's some more tractors over there. Anybody need some tractors? Plenty of them. Another freight train coming through with a double header with more tractors. Must be a big market for tractors in Austria. They're everywhere. Oh, I think TSC's far from dead, Brad. I think there's a lot of life in this old engine. It can be a little bit hard to keep it stable. My advice to people would be regularly verify your Steam files and try not to have too much DLC installed. Heading up to Langkampfen. Chicago's driving something on a 2.2% grade. Bridge. Bridge. Come on, don't do that to me. Bridge. Come on, bridge, bridge. There we go. Boink. Me miss a gratuitous screenshot opportunity on a bridge? Alright, I think we should start slowing down. It feels like it might be slowing down a bit too much. Let's go back into neutral. It's pretty out there in the snow, isn't it? The snow's done quite nicely. Moo. I feel sorry for cows in the snow. Hello, people walking in the rain and snow. No umbrellas. No big jackets. Obviously a very strong folk. Whoop, sorry, I looked at Rail Driver. I must be getting used to this thing. I shouldn't say that. Next station I'll just overshoot it like crazy. Now there's a nice 1970s pair of bell-bottom pants. Haven't seen them for a while. she's got a few cousins on the platform. And over here as well. Sorry folks, you took too long. Doors are shut now. Alright. Brakes off. Uh-oh. There we go. I still had some power on from last time. There seems to be a little red line on the gauge there. Don't know if I'm supposed to go over that or not. 4 kilonewtons. Oh, you're playing Canadian mountain passes. Any second you're going to tell me what loco you're driving. And I'm sure it'll be one from Searchlight. So you do delight in telling me you're driving stuff from Searchlight. I have 0 of their content. Let me count them. Hang on. Yeah, 0. Coming into Schafter now. I'll go with that. It's probably an awful pronunciation, but I'll go with it. A bridge and a station at the same time, that's not fair. It's just a big hole in the ground more than the bridge, isn't it? Ooh, that looks a bit different. It's a freight one. And he's stopping in the platform as well. Guess there's steel coils or something over there. Alright then. Back in the cab. Brakes off. No, not brakes off. Why not brakes off? Brakes are not releasing. Why is that? Oh, I want to go to release. Not hold. Did I accidentally put that brake on? Why don't my brakes release? Let's put it to FU. Well, let's just try and put some power on and see what happens. No. Uh-oh. Let's try it with the keyboard. What's happening, little Jim? Yes, I know you've got the brakes on. That's nice. That's what the yellow light means. Okay, loco brake's not on. I don't have any air pressure on here in my main reservoir, so I can't release the brakes over here. Is my compressor turned off or something? Did I do something? It is, it's off. How did that happen? Is that just a special feature from RSSLO? It's like, ha, bite this. Now, is my pressure coming back up? That's the question. Okay, and release. Alright, let's give it some power and see what happens. Is it going to? No. It's not. Just give the compressor a little while. Maybe it's trying to pump up the train or something. That definitely is in release and it's staying there. Ah, that needle's moving now. Very slowly, that one. The brake's gone back to 0, hasn't it? There we go. Figured it out. Okay. Power on, Jim. Yay. More power. Wouldn't surprise me if that was just a feature of driving the locomotive that maybe does random things to you and you have to figure them out. That wouldn't surprise me. As we're going to what is fast becoming whiteout conditions. It's a bit dismal out there. Three and a half kilometres. Nice little village over there. Back to neutral because we've reached 100 k's near enough. We're going to Kufstein. Yes, definitely snow in JTE. Snow and water. Wonderful combination. What's that noise? That's a different noise. I haven't heard it make that noise before. What's it doing? What's it doing? I can't see anything that looks different though. But I do need to start braking because we've got an 80 zone coming up. We blew the torn, that's nice too. There's a pond. Look at that, nice reflections. Says he getting distracted from the job of braking. But I think we're braking adequately. Certainly going to beat the 80 zone. Kilometre to go. More pond. More nice reflections. I'm a sucker for reflections. Came in a bit hotter into this one, but it still seems to have worked out. My compressor's now running continuously. Good night, Gabrielle. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Sleep well. There we go. Now let's just have a look at this compressor switch. Does it have an A position and an I position or something like that? Not really. It does. It has an A position and an I position. They put it in I, which I guess is just on. Great job! Awesome. Well. Yeah, we normally run for a little bit longer, so we could run one more, I guess. You scored 0. Excellent. I'm pleased with myself. So I guess we're doing freight. And guess what that means? We got to start it up again. Yeehaw. That'll be the last one for today. What's on next week? Have a look. Next week is upcoming live streams. We're doing some more Japan next week. We're doing the Tadami line, so that's one that I bought in the sale, which is pretty cool. Okay. There's our little machine again. Let's jump in. This looks like a fair... Oh, no, it's a little train. Let's jump in the cab and starting her up. Battery. And let's go over here. I'm going to do the contact key, turn the contact key, and then we've got the pantograph contact key, which is over there. Come on. We've got our helper compressor, which is down there somewhere. Come on, get onto it, get onto it. Oh, the switch is so hard to get onto. Let me try and go there, and then... No, that won't work. Where's that position down there? There we go. Let's try that one. Gotcha. And how's our pressure going? Too low. I'll wait for it to come up to 5. That's coming up now, so we can go back over here and turn our pantograph up. Clank. All right, what's next? We've done the main switch, so we've got to wait for pressure to come up. Looks like it has. So let's go over to this position and turn around behind us. Main switch. Okay. Good. Now we want to turn on the big compressor. So I'm going to turn that to A. Alright. Now we want to turn on the Loco brake valve, which is that one. Good. And we want to release put the train brake lever activation to D. That was over here somewhere. No, it's over here. Let me move to this console. Train brake lever activation, that's that one. So I'll put it to the middle position. And then I've got to go around here and put that one on. And go back to that one and put that to the I position. And then go over here. Hey, why don't we do something dumb? Let's do something dumb. We're going to drive from this side. Ooh, it's all backwards. Okay, so what else do we have to do? Select the direction of travel. Oh, we haven't released the spring brake, have we? Release the spring brake. Okay. Now select the direction of travel. Can't. Do I have to turn this one on? Yeah, maybe you can't drive from this one. Because that's saying chair. Alright, let's try and do it from rail driver instead. Where's the bloody lever? Okay, so I can't sit at that console. What if I use the... No, alright. Well, it did set the direction here. And release the train brake. That's that one. Release the loco brake, which is that one. Okay, so the lights are off. Turn on lufter. Press and hold lufter until the light goes off. Oh, the light's still on. I don't know why that stayed on. Have I done the wrong order? It must be on that. It is. Let's try ventilation again. There we go. Just needed more pressure. Release train brake. That's done. Release the loco brake. Turn on the headlights, which is over here. Let's do this. That position, I think. What does that give us? 3 lights, that's good. Instrument lights, and we should be able to go. Got a green signal, haven't we? And we're making juice. Oops, and we haven't turned off PZB. Good. I suppose it lets you turn off PZB and CIFA when you're on the move, but that's okay. We have gotten it going. 3 times, yay! I know there's a procedure for changing consoles, but I was kind of hoping you could just do it, but clearly you can't. It is a bit enthusiastic, isn't it, NJTE? But, you know, whatever gets him happy. Wow, could we change tracks more times, do you reckon? strange routing. But okay. Now, where are we going? We're going to Inbrook F siding 5 in 7.5 kilometres. On a nice summer's day. I wish it was a nice summer's day here. The sun's certainly out, but it's not warm. There's smoke coming out of that house. So what do people think of the 1063? What's your verdict? Oh, look, the time on there actually matches the game time. That's cool. Field of something there? Oh, those people like their flowers, don't they? Lots of people growing lots of flowers. They look maybe like they're community gardens. They don't look like they're attached to a house. No, train. More tractors! Someone's got the market cornered for tractors, that's for sure. A lever? I wonder what that does. Oh, it's the door lever. Okay. We're going uphill and starting to lose some speed, but that's okay because we have to slow down anyway soon. Just let gravity do the job. While we're out the brakes. Don't know if the radio does anything. Looks like it's displaying something, but nothing selectable on there. Cruising along. It's funny how he says, yes, I can do all the gradients, but then stops. Mountains look cool. Serious super elevation on that corner. He's a tight one. Oh, missed it. I was so busy looking at the corner, I missed the gratuitous bridge shot. We've got some yellow signals here. Better start piling on some brakes, I think. Lots of brakes, in fact. Because we're supposed to be doing 40 Ks, but we're a bit naughty. But we are coming down. Cruising into the freight yard now. Making our way to siding number 5. Which I'm kind of assuming the game's just going to take me there, so. Has every other time. You kind of have to like Canada, Michael. You don't really get a choice. I'm just stopping. No, it's going to make me do it anyway, but I was just stopping before the scenario finished because that's that thing from the Olympic competitions, isn't it? The ski ramp. Cool bananas. Great job. Well,
Ski jump.
yeah. That pretty much brings us to the end for today. I'll just drag this over here. I reorganized my channel to make my live streams more obvious because they introduced a feature that lets you announce your live streams in a more obvious way, which means I don't need to put them on steamengine.com.au anymore because you can easily see them here. So next week we've got TSClassic with some more cherry blossoms, and we're doing the Tadani line in Japan. That was requested by one of the viewers who wanted to see that one, and I bought it in the sale because I could. Then, kind of exciting, I know Eliza, Alicia, whatever you are, you'll let me know. You'll yell at me, I'm sure. You'll have to tell me how to pronounce your name one of these days, guys, Chicago. But anyway, he asked for Metra. I've had to move Metra because something happened. LIRR. Long Island Railroad is coming to TSC. Now, it's going to be interesting to show you the differences between the TSW and the TSC version. So it should be cool. So that's been it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back with Tadami Line in Japan next week, which is a very pretty one, I have to say. Right, thanks heaps, guys. Have fun. Bye now. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.